If you want to know why the Catalan opening is so OP for white, then you've come to the right place. In this game that we'll see between Parham Magsudlu playing against Liviu Nicepianu in the German Bundesliga, we see white play the Catalan opening, which for those of you who don't know is where you go g3, bishop g2, castles, and then open your eyes at the beautiful position you created without thinking. After bishop e7, this is how the game played out. And I know the burning question on everybody's minds here is, what happens if black just takes the pawn and says, hey, I'm a pawn up, what you gonna do? Well, then we go queen c2 and we go after this pawn. By the way, if they don't take and they do what most of my opponents do in online bullet, which is go c6 and pretend that they are playing the semi-Slav here, well, in this case, our plan is to go knight bd2, e4, and just blast open that long diagonal for our bishop. So if they go d takes e4, this is just an absolute dream position for the Catalan player. c6 pawn is under fire. We've got nice pressure down long diagonal, space advantage, and well, I'm not an accountant, so I'm not going to accumulate every single advantage that white has in this position, but I think you get the picture that this is absolute paradise for white. And if they don't take on e4, well, you can go e5 and kind of get a good French where the knights just honestly look kind of impish on e8 and d7, and white is just going to be better here. So Nicepianu decides after queen c2 not to play either a6 and try to get this bishop challenging the bishop on g2, which is the main line. Or for that matter, if you're a top GM who just wants to draw with black using deep engine analysis, well, Nepomniachtchi's b5, a4, bishop e7 is, and just sacking the pawn for activity is the way they're doing it at the top level. Okay, if they do this in every match of every game of the 2023 Ding Nepo World Champion match, well, we know it'll be a snooze fest, but we're going to hope they have a bit more fighting spirit. Seriously though, the move c5 is, I think, a kind of instructive mistake, because after d5, if they do just take back, which is not what happened in the game, but we see that now white's got that beautiful pressure down the long diagonal. Also, bonus points for you if you did recognize that this position is in fact kind of like a Grunfeld defense, but with colors reversed, where the bishop is absolutely beautiful on this diagonal. Can't stop talking about it. And also, by the way, if you are enjoying this video so far, do make sure to click the red subscribe button. And in any case, one also little chance for you guys to type your thoughts in the comments. What if black plays queen to c7? What would be the move that you would play as white in this position? And before you think that it's a tactical puzzle, well, I don't want to give it away completely. I'll return to this position at the end of the video after we have gone through how Magsudlu beat Nicepianu. Actually, I remember at his peak, Nicepianu was rated like nearly 2,700 actually. So in any case, the game went rook to d1. Maybe it's better just to take, like, sometimes the obvious move is just the best one, and you do keep the extra pawn defended. But yeah, when you're a 2,700 plus GM, you sometimes try to show your strength by not playing the obvious move and trying to be a creative genius. But after rook d1, black now plays knight b4, suddenly saying, oh, but I can counterattack you. And the queen is also now babysitting the rook on d1, so white kind of has to play queen a4. Black plays knight f to d5, so also trying to keep everything hanging together. And ultimately, the conclusion about this position is that neither side really likes their piece placement at the moment. So it's definitely going to be a fun position. After queen to c7, in this position here, the knight on e5 is under attack. If you take the pawn, then black is just going to show off his computer-like ability and play the move b5. If en passant, the knight on c4 hangs. But if you take, then there's queen bishop a6, and this is a really nasty skewer. So yeah, whatever you do here, it's not going to be great for white. But that's why we have the move a3, now counter-attacking the knight, so that if they take our knight, which is what happened in the game, you take back and you're defending c5. Now at this point, again, computer has its own ideas. For example, saying just move the knight, don't get too fancy, play simple chess, take back your pawn, and it'll be doing okay. Well, you could also play bishop d7 first, I suppose, but yeah, same sort of thing. This is going to be okay for black. I have to be a little bit careful as black still. We can kick their knights away like soccer balls, but, you know, black at least is reasonably solid here, which can't really be said for how the game played out. Queen takes c5, a takes b4, and you might be wondering, what if black just takes a pawn e2? Isn't the material, you know, going to be black as a pawn up? Well, you have knight to c3, you trade off the knight, and once again, this is why it's so valuable to have this Catalan bishop just breathing fire down the board, kind of like in a dragon, because you're not letting that black bishop on c8 get out. And if this bishop is stuck, then the rook on a8 is also stuck as well. And you can sort of see where this is going, right? It'll be a queenside rebellion of, you know, why are you keeping us unemployed? We want to get in the fight. So after a b4, black plays a5, you know, trying to get the rook off strike. And Magstudley comes up with another great move saying, I don't even care. I'll play knight c3 anyway and just sacrifice the pawn. That's what makes chess fun, you know, when you can sacrifice pawns for the initiative. And, well, if they take this way, knight c3, queen c3, you can even just play a normal move, bishop e3, just develop the final piece. They can't take on b4 because of the pin on the b file, but if they don't take, we just go b5. And, well, in a position like this, I mean, you have so many things you can do. Like, you can round up this pawn. You can try to go after this guy when their bishop moves. You can go c6 and just queen your own pawn, potentially. Whatever you do, it's going to be good for white. Like, in a great position, all the roads are going to lead to Rome. After knight c3, knight takes b4. This is what happened in the game. And now in this position, maybe the best bet here is to play a move like bishop e3. And probably at the time, the player's like, well, doesn't black just take the pawn for free? But nah, we have queen to b5. Yeah, I'm not even coming with the moves myself. I'm just quoting the engine, which obviously I couldn't do during the game. But after bishop d6, yeah, the very, very beautiful point is that all of this would be for naught, but bishop c5 hitting the rook and hitting the knight with a pin gets the material back, and then you're golden, simply. So white ends up playing knight e4 instead. Not the best move, but okay, what's the top line versus the third engine line between friends? And once again, this position is one where black has a rather difficult task of trying to find the best move, and in the game, he did not find it in the end. After f5, knight d6, queen takes c5, bishop e3, queen c7. And like, see, I'm so caught up in the game, I already forgot whether I told you to subscribe to the channel or not. But seriously though, after rook d7, we have got a fork. And you see, like, the Catalan people might think it's just a system opening, like, oh yeah, you just plot along, like, put the piece on the same squares everywhere and just play normal positional chess. But the Catalan's actually a very dynamic opening, certainly in this game, that's for sure. Black plays the move b5, almost if to say, well, the pawn's going anyway, so let's just sacrifice it. But after queen b5, rook b8, there is a very, very nice move for white, and I'm also very curious to see if you find it. Well, let's see you type what move you would play as white in the comments. Well, this one's going to be a bit of a free pass. I know that there's some of you maybe who watch a lot of videos on the channel be like, man, it's been too long since I've got a puzzle right. Give us some confidence, Max. But the answer is that bishop b7 is even better than just the automatic queen retreat, because, well, the best way to defend is to attack in many cases, and certainly here as well. Queen e8, white grabs the yum-yum with rook takes a5, which actually gives black a little bit of a chance to get back to the game. Okay, the first puzzle was kind of a giveaway. This one's going to be more of a challenge. Got a chance to improve on a strong grandmaster's play with black. What would be your move here to stay in the game? Let's see who can get it right in the comments. So in this position here, the answer is not the move that black played, alas. Black played the move knight d5, probably trying to get after the rook and, you know, do fun stuff with the pins. But unfortunately, after bishop a7, we are threatening to win the exchange. And after rook d8, bishop to c6, everything just falls apart for black. He can't really take the rook because after takes, queen to f7, or queen g6 for that matter. Well, my first thought was just grab a free pawn, but actually it's even better just to keep the pressure. We move like queen c6, and, well, we ask black how are you going to defend the e6 pawn, and black says, I don't know, I guess I just resign. So if rook f6, by the way, the point is that you've got bishop f d4 to remove the defender. If they go e5, then yeah, you just take the knight with check. That's going to be easy enough. In the game, after queen f7, white just took on c4. White is up a pawn. It's also threatening to kind of sack with like rook d5 and do some nasty stuff on this diagonal. And you've got the bishop pair, pass pawn, and it all adds up. And black didn't want to waste any time, so he just resigned. But what was the better move for black to play in this position? Well, it is one of the positions we call a critical position in chess, because it's a case where the second best move, knight d5, is basically losing. So what you had to do is you had to play f4 here as black. And the idea is that if white does take the pawn, like bishop takes, it clears the way for rook f5. And suddenly there are a few little problems in this position. That if you move the queen away to safety, well, maybe safe for the queen, not so safe for the rooks. After take, queen takes d7, bishop takes rook, queen takes bishop. Black is a piece for a pawn up, and it's just game over. So you don't want to play queen a4. You want to block with the bishop, but then things keep getting spicy. Bishop to f6, hitting this. And now white in turn says, oh, I'm just going to go queen b4 and hope that you blunder material with queen takes d7. Black says, you take me for a fool. Rook takes e5. Rook takes e5, and just when black says, aha, I've got a fork on you, white moves one piece to defend the second one, rook b5. And finally, after all this absolute insanity, the position here ends up being one that black can hold if he finds the crazy computer move of king f7. The idea, by the way, is to kind of go bishop c6 and not have to worry about some rook to b8 check, something along these lines. But anyway, this was a fun little game. I certainly had fun showing it to you, even if I didn't know what was going on half the time. Maybe not sure if the place Charlie got was going on in position either. So we're all in this together, enjoying some very fun dynamic chess where you don't have to figure out everything to sack a couple of pawns. I'm just, it feels right, sack a couple of pawns, and, later on the engine says you're a genius. Anyway, these jokes aside, if you did enjoy this video, well, I certainly have some more stuff like my free course Crush sub 1800s with 1e4, and you can definitely check that out in the link in the description below. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.